They had so much going for them. I also learned to develop again from the Greeks, Costa, and actually the part of Greece that they were born in is now Turkey, because the Ottoman Empire, they lost that portion of Greece. And when Sally and I were there, we thought there'd be some kind of statue to Onassis and Costa. There's nothing. There's an old rubbled house that supposedly Onassis was born in, but use your contacts, but don't. This is another Onassis. Use your contacts, but only when you really need them. Don't wear them out. Which is all, not common sense, but from Jerry Ormond, which was my general oil type and business mentor, that long hours, even when he was in his 70s, he was still working 100 hours a week. But he didn't consider it work, just like I don't consider it work. When you enjoy what you're doing, it's not work. You're going to find out on your weekly report what work is to you and what's not work to you. It will become infinitely obvious to you about the third day when you have to differentiate, was that work or not? For me, it was work to make myself involved with my family. That was work. That was work. Because I didn't see my dad do it, and so I didn't want to do it. I used to go to, I think I mentioned, I used to go towards the end of my dad's life, I went to weddings and funerals. That's it. And you know how after a wedding, or a funeral, you go back to the house, you drink coffee. I might have mentioned this. You drink coffee and eat cake and shit, and the guys go over and have beers, and right? Well, when I'd walk in the room, my dad would say, "This is my son that lives in a castle." And I told my dad that if you say that one more time, I'm never going to come to another fucking funeral. But he just couldn't help himself. This is my son that lived in a castle. He's proud, but just say I'm proud of you, And I didn't like to go to weddings because people get drunk and how did you get so rich and why did you leave LA, blah, blah, blah. I didn't need all that shit. So weddings were the first to go, but pay my respects at the funerals. I told you, my dad says, yes, I'm proud of my son, but my son is successful not because of me, but in spite of me. He wanted to make sure that it was cut and clear. So, but I never, Grazos used to travel by train. He had the Onassis train, and my office used to get a call. Mr. Onassis got on the train in Grand Central Station. He's going to be in Chicago in this time frame, and he'll be in San Diego in this time frame. Could Mr. Peña, he'd like to know if he could meet him for dinner. And so I used to fly and intercept the train and get on the train, and it looked like Sally and I were on the Orient Express last year. You get an opportunity. The Orient Express is a special opportunity that exists today on a train. And there's only 4 cabins, but even just staying on the Orient Express in the little cabins is an experience. And so, but that's what the Onassis train looked like. Mahogany and old time art and all that. And so I used to catch the train in Chicago and take it for him. He used to like to go to San Diego because one of his favorite hotels was in San Diego. And so I went out of my way, and they're appreciative. Mentors will be appreciative. And but not every word, but every time I went to meet one of those mentors that I've mentioned, some words of wisdom come out his lips by accident or just saying shit, and you learn. And but more than anything, I learned about when under pressure, how not to show it. The big guys don't show it. They still get even, but they just don't show their anxiety. Anxiety is like something that doesn't exist with them. And I had him a long time. I wish I had him longer, but I had Jerry Orman 25 years. I had Jim Newman 25 years. I only had Costa Grazos maybe 8 or 10 years, because he was a lot older than the other guys. He didn't live as long. But you will, and then someday you're going to be the mentor to somebody. God forbid. God forbid. But it's tough to be a great mentor or even a good mentor unless you've had one, because you don't know how they act unless you've had one, and it's tough to be, if not impossible, to be a great parent unless you've had one. And most of the kids that come through this seminar haven't had a great parent, not even one. And rarely do they have two. You're fortunate if you have one role model parent. And but then, remember, kids and your employees and your directors and your dream team members will not do what you say, they will do what they see you do. And when you lead with leadership and high standards, and you always want the deal to get done, the accountants and lawyers will say 3 months, 6 weeks we got. I always used to cut whatever the timelines of the professionals in half. Whenever the programmer, a fucking half-ass snowflake decoder programmer told me it was going to take 3 months, you got a week. You got a week. Okay? And then they get it done in 9 days. Huh? Half. Cut it in half. Engineers, cut it by 90%. They're all full of shit. But I mean, I can't begin to tell you how important the standards that you're going to set when you get back to begin with. And that goes with your family at home. It starts at home for some of you. I mean, some of you, whether you've got a nagging significant other or not, as soon as you miss a birthday, what's the next holiday coming up?
Thanksgiving.
Rosh Hashanah?
Yeah, for me.
Okay, Rosh Hashanah.
Well, not for me, my wife, excuse me.
Okay, well, Rosh Hashanah, or in America, Thanksgiving. I mean, you're dog shit.
Halloween.
Oh, well, what are they doing? That must be a BMI deal. Okay, but for sure the holiday, the Christmas part. I remember not many Christmases not being. The mother and father normally put presents around the trees with the kids and should have the kids go to sleep. I'm not sure I ever put a present around a tree. Ever. I told you I'm only changed one diaper. Three kids, one diaper. And I was shamed into changing that diaper because the shit was rolling down Dan Jr.'s leg. And I don't give a fuck, just, rub it off on the table or something. I don't give a fuck. And a guy named Sherrod Hansen, if you're watching Sherrod, shamed me into changing the diaper. And I took Dan by the foot, pick him up, and I took him into the men's room where we were having, I don't know why I had him at the meeting. I don't know why, governors or nanny. And I took his little shit off, and then I put him under the faucet like this, running like the water. And he looks up, I can close my eyes and see him looking up at me. And then he peed, and so then I got paper towels to make a diaper, and then we went into one of the offices and got a stapler to staple the shit together, and but that's the only diaper that I've changed, and most people that have had any kids at all have had multiple diapers, but that's as close to parenthood as I got. A diaper in a men's room at an office building held together with staples. Now, I should have filmed that. I'm sure it would have gone viral, and I would have taken a lot of heat for it. There was a question?
How do we bring out any kind of payment to the mentors?
No, you're not paying the mentors. Your Indian heritage is coming out. No. No, we're not paying the mentors. You're not paying them there. And if they, now this is an Indian question. I'm going to give you with an Indian answer. If they ask you for money, that's not a mentor. No token. Well, you send them a nice birthday card for his token of appreciation. Buy him dinner, or I was going to say send him a hooker, but don't do that.
But the strip is not a mentor.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, but I've had stranger questions. I mean, I've had, legitimately, you're in town for meet your mentor for dinner, and they want to know, should I send him a broad up to his room? No. Okay. And then the mentor found out that I had said no, and he said, Dan, why don't you let me make those decisions? Let me make those decisions. And I go, okay. Anyway. And he was senior to me. And I said, oh, okay. I should have stuck my nose in where, and we kind of chuckled about it. But generally, no. And now there's iPhones. People filming a girl going into a deputy undersecretary of energy's room. I mean, you never know now. You never know. I mean, in that regard, it's full information world makes for a lot of potential bad things that can happen. And then they want to know who paid the girl. But I mean, we're just going to tell them you did. Just to make sure nobody else's name and address you're going to get, but I'm going to give you his. So you just say he paid the girl. And then sometimes they like to be called escorts, winds up dead in the guy's room. And you sent him. You sent her. Then, I mean, and it just, the ugliness just gets worse and worse. Just gets worse and worse. And then you're trying to explain to your parents and your significant other, no, CNN lied. Fake news. And when you're caught in one of those deals, I mean, unless you manage your way out of them, every time you move your foot, you're stepping in shit. So, but I know none of you guys are going to do that. Who's my 5:30? 6:30. Okay. How's your arm feeling?
It's much better.
That's better. Well, I bet I'll yank it then, as you may. So tonight you've got a movie and you've got your affirmations, and we're going to spend. And we didn't go over the two things. I know we didn't go over. It's not the end of the world. Tonight we eat back in the castle, we're coming towards the end. Like sex, it's all at the end. We're going to go over tomorrow our one case study, which you really don't need, but I feel obligated that I should give you one case study for these things. And again, somebody asked me yesterday about the hardcore. The hardcore in January is still open, still got a few slots, and you don't have to have done a deal when you come. You've heard, rightly or wrongly, the kids all come back. They all and it's funny. Sally and I were discussing this again. The successful kids come back. The also ran kids don't. Now you can take that one of two ways, but default is a bitch. And Sally says I like doing the seminars because if I was ever going to go to default, as soon as I have a seminar, I'm out of it because I'm beating up on you and dragging you across the goal line. And there may be some truth in that because even though I beat you up, you're all low performing douchebags. You're much higher performing than sitting over there on the other side of that camera. Okay. You figured out a way to get here. Some of you it was easy, some of you it was very hard, but you're here. and they're not. Now, I'll take some heat. I don't give a shit. But the point is, you figured out a way, and so there is the high performance environment is better here than at your house. Okay, and that's what you're going to be fighting when you go home, and that's why the first weekly report will be cathartic for you. I mean, even the best of you in this class, it'll be cathartic. And the Zoom call will be a second level of catharticness, if maybe that's not a word, because you're going to be able to see who's left and the faces. And you'll be able to tell by the faces, the looks on the TV screens, the little screens, because you can see each other, who has done best and who hasn't done best, just by the look, your facial expression, and the reports. And the Zoom calls fucking work. They just do. Any questions from anybody? Yes, sir. Are you raising your hand or have a question? Okay. Okay. Any questions?
Contact Thelma about hardcore.
Yeah. Contact Thelma about hardcore. And now, for drinks before dinner, how many pieces would we have to chop him up into? Now, I mean, because he's not a small guy. Now, normally it's your legs, your torso, and sometimes for big torsos, you chop the torso. Yes, exactly, the hatchet back there. Sometimes the torso's in 2 pieces, the arms and the head. We may have to do his torso in 3 pieces.
The top in 60 pieces and the bottom
Okay,
in 60 pieces.
but I mean, and then we feed him to the fish. Or, oh no, our dogs would eat meat. I mean, yeah, the coal crusher, yeah. Okay, guys, good night. Thank you.